The Digital Gal, and this is the Video Marketing Show. So what's the deal with creating content on the go? Well, content on the go can be anything that you make it. However, having the right tools and equipment to capture that content on the go is important. But you've got a cell phone in your pocket, don't you? Yeah. So you can literally, I'm recording this on a cell phone right now. You can literally take your cell phone anywhere with you and record content on the fly. Because it is hard. Like if I go over that little rock there, there's people over there. If I go over that little rock there, there's people over there. That's okay. I've been recording content with people walking back and forth all day. Feels a little bit strange, but once you get over that first initial hump of like, ooh, this is a little uncomfortable, it gets easier. So why are we creating content on the go? There are many different reasons. First of all, the reason that I love the most is that it looks different in the newsfeed. It captures attention. And attention span is very, very important because that is the currency that we are working in right now. So if I can't capture your attention right away, I've already lost you. So, capture your attention first, reel you in with the story, and then we make it exciting. And it sure doesn't hurt having a beautiful location to film from. My name is Amanda Robinson. I am the Digital Gal, and on today's episode of the Video Marketing Show, we are looking at creating content on the go. I am literally sitting on a beach right now, and I've brought all my gear here to be able to open it up and show you all the little tips and tricks of things that can help make it easier for you to create content on the go. So let's look into my bag and see what I've got. So first and foremost, stay hydrated. Let's open up. Let's put that over here. First and foremost, let's open up the bag, see what we've got in here. So in my little carry bag, I have all sorts of little accessories and helpful things. So let's go. First up, we've got a pair of headphones, and these are close to the ear headphones, so they're like ear monitors. It's very hard to see them when they're in, unlike these AirPods right now, which are very highly visible. So those I keep, and I'm going to be using those in combination with a field audio recorder that I have. So audio is really, really important when you are on the road and on the go. So this field audio recorder, I can plug the headphones right into the side there so I can be able to hear the feedback of what it actually sounds like. And then I can either record with the speakers or I can plug in a lavalier microphone to it. Hence the lavalier mic. So let's open this puppy up. This is a lavalier microphone. It just clips onto your shirt, and that can clip into my audio recording device, and that's what I'm going to be using for the rest of this to be able to help give us a little bit better sound as we're filming in some different scenarios. Alright, so that's what those pieces are. What else have I got in the bag? We have an extra tripod. I have tripods everywhere. I keep tripods in everything. So we've got a tripod. It can grip onto different surfaces. It can wrap around things. That's also the same type that I'm using right here. All right, power management is huge when you're on the road. So I have a giant power bank. This lovely big thing. This is an Anchor power bank. This is essentially the largest volume of battery that you can carry onto an airplane and still have it be safe in your carry-on before they make you check it in your baggage. So this is crucial because this lovely little thing here, let's see if I can get a close-up here. All these little light dots that you're seeing here, there's about 10 of them. That gives me up to 10 charges of my iPhone, and I can get continuous power out of this. It's very helpful, and it comes in really, really handy when charging all of your devices. A nice little cover to keep it from, it's metal, so to keep it from scraping and scratching other items. Then moving along here, extra power, of course. And then we've got this lovely little device right here. And this is the one that I want to talk a lot about. This one is the DJI, I have a hard time saying that, DJI Osmo Mobile 2. So, actually no, Mobile 1. They've now come out with a version 2. So what this is like a little 3-axis gimbal. So when I hit power and power it on, it's going to calibrate. There we go. And there you go. We've got a little screen. It'll show you what's on the screen. And you can hit the record button and record on the go. And it's a stabilizer. So you can take 4K video and keep it steady and stable. But the cool thing that I love about this, let's power that back off again for a second. There it goes to sleep. And then you can just easily holster it right back into its case and keep that lens protected. But what I love about this is that when you're on the go, when you're on the fly and you need to just whip this thing out and you're like, oh cool, really cool action, let's power that back up and record. That's how long it took me to power that up and hit record, which essentially in my world is about the same amount of time it takes me to whip out my phone, find the little button, turn it on, get it onto the video mode, and then hit record on my phone. So this lovely little tool, I keep that tucked into my purse, into my backpack, into the back pocket of my shorts or jeans, and I take it almost everywhere with me. That's the other key to success with all of these little tips and tricks, is you can't use the equipment if you don't have the equipment on you. And you can't use the equipment if you don't have the equipment charged and ready to go before you set out on your adventures. And that brings me over to this lovely unit right over here. This lovely unit over here, this is a Goal Zero Yeti power bank. It's huge. I need to work out more. Okay, that was fun. So what have we got inside the Yeti? All right, so inside this power bank here, we have our plug in and power input to juice this puppy up. And then we've got our, we have our little light for our display so we can see, there how much power we have left. Right now it's at 87% full. And we can also see our power input and outputs on here. So I can turn that light off. We've got USB plugins, and we have our 120 volt AC plugs. So I can take units like this and I can plug them in and I can charge my phone accessories or any other accessories for that matter while I'm on the go. This huge thing right here will power my laptop for, I would say, 2 charging cycles of my entire laptop. My laptop's a guzzler of power though, but this will power my cell phone and all my little goodies and accessories all day long. Okay, and on the last segment for gear, I also brought with me my Sony camera that I'm using for recording to also get high quality video footage. So we're going to have a whole range of video footage to be able to compare against. So let me flip this around and show you the rest of the setup. So here is my camera, and I have that set up on my lovely little tripod in the sand. And I have a nice Rode microphone with they call this a dead cat so that the wind doesn't pick up on the audio. And then yeah, that's my little setup right there. And then I'm using this lovely little rock to perch all of my stuff on. The tide is actually incredibly low. I have not seen the tide this low at this beach in a very long time. So I find that kind of interesting. And eventually, we're going to wander over to that rock over there. All right, so now let's talk about why you would want to be creating content on the go. Let's put it this way. If you are doing content, when I say content, I mean you're creating video, photos, images, blogs, whatever. When you're creating that content, if you're doing it from the comfort of your home office, comfort of your computer, that's good. It's a great place to concentrate. However, when it comes to producing content that stands out, looks a little bit different, and can showcase the environment that you're in, that's going to catch attention. And catching attention, we are working in a world where our currency is attention span. Anything that you're putting out there, aka content, we are working within the currency of attention span. You need to catch people's attention, and you need to be able to entertain them, educate them, make them laugh. If it doesn't fall into one of those categories, people are going to scroll right on past your content. So this leads us to the benefit of creating content on the go. By having the tools that we just talked about, by having even the cell phone that you have in your pocket. I'll pull mine out. This right here This is your content on the go. It's very easy. It's just a matter of being in the right mindset to remember to keep it with you, remember to keep it charged, and remember to use it when you have those opportunities. So fun story, I bring Small Dog walking down on this beach over there all the time, and we climb over these rocks, and then we come out across that little walkway and over here for the view and to hang out, and beautiful sunsets over this way. But the first time we did that, see how like, ugh, how sludgy that is? First time we did that, we were over there and Small Dog was checking it out, and he slipped off of those rocks right there and sploosh right into this mucky, murky, disgusting soup of stuff. It was awful. So then I had to pluck him out of there by his harness, like yank him out of there, and then take him back over to the ocean side and dunk him in, rinse him off. He was not happy. By the way, Small Dog does not like water. So yeah, that was his first experience of traversing the rocks and the beach. He's been good ever since though. Pistachio break. Another fine tip, if you're going to be creating content on the fly, bring snacks. You might be there for a while. Video marketing doesn't have to be a perfectly manufactured environment. You don't have to do it in a studio. You do not have to do it within the comfort and confines of the four walls of your office, and you don't have to do it with a full game plan. However, some pre-planning does really help you along the way, such as pre-planning your power management. Are things charged? Are your memory cards empty? If you're going to be planning on live streaming on the go, on the fly, you have to take into consideration other things such as cell phone service where you are. So another tip that I gave earlier today was I was asked a question of if I want to use Zoom from my cell phone from my car while waiting for somebody to come out of their appointment, what's the best? In that case, whether you're using Zoom or whether you want to live stream, one of the tips that you can do is the cellular data network typically is going to have better speeds than your Wi-Fi network if you're trying to connect to something Wi-Fi from within the car. So my recommendation is that you take your phone and you turn it off of Wi-Fi and you rely on the data network. Now, how much data is that going to chew through? Well, I have a little bit of experience in in that department. So when I was road tripping and traveling all across North America, I was going all across the United States from, I was in New Orleans, I was in the Grand Canyon, I was sleeping in campsites, I was in New Mexico, I was out in San Diego, I was in the Outer Banks, I was all over the place. And from that, I learned that I had to use a lot of cellular data for my live streaming and for my video content creation. So in order to do that, think of it this way. If you're watching a Netflix movie, say an hour and a half long Netflix movie, we can ballpark that that's about 2 gigabytes of data. And that's 2 gigabytes of downloading data. When you are live streaming, you are using upload data. So it takes a little bit of effort and energy and a lot of data to make it work. So definitely pre-plan if you are limited by your cell phone plan. You might want to consider that before trying to create any live streaming data on the fly. So in this setup that I have right now, I'm not live streaming. What I've chosen to do in this case, because I'm showcasing so many different types of equipment, in this case, I'm actually pre-recording everything. And so with the pre-record, slicing it all together, and then putting together a showcase video that can be then used, and I can use programs like Restream. This is the coolest thing, the coolest feature, is I can create this content on the fly, on the go, with all the various different devices that I have, splice it all together, and then I can upload that into Restream as a pre-recorded video that's going to stream live across multiple channels. I don't know many other programs that can do that, and it's extremely exciting for me as a content creator to have the flexibility and the freedom to do that. So that's why in this case, because of cellular service, I get terrible service down here on this beach, and because of data concerns, I've chosen to do a pre-record instead of using this content live. Now, if you are choosing to create content on the fly and you're not using cellular data, so you're not live streaming and you're pre-recording, a couple things you need to keep in mind. Number one, if you're recording with a cell phone, a device like this, keep in mind file transfer and file size. So you won't be able to text message this video to yourself. You won't be able to, you might have some trouble airdropping it. So you might have to connect and actually download the video and then transfer it over. So the amount of time, definitely factor into whether you're going to live stream something or whether you're going to pre-record, factor in the time that it's going to take you to transfer files, manipulate files, stitch them together, do whatever it is that you're going to do with them. So pre-recording content the way that I am today on different devices to showcase how this works, it's not the fastest, let me tell you. I've been on the go since 11 a.m. this morning, and it's now after 5 p.m. So this whole event, this is a full day extravaganza for you, so that I can show you the different various ways that you can be creating content on the go. But with that said, managing your file sizes, managing the amount of data that you're working with and the file sizes that you're going to have to transfer at a later date, and having a game plan on how you're going to do that is going to come in handy. Part 2 of that, SD cards. We've all got them kicking around. There's tons of them, sure. But 2 things to remember. Number 1, go ahead and clear that content card before you get out on the go and try to create content on the fly. Because if you don't go ahead and clear that card before you go, you might soon realize that, oh yeah, I forgot to take off my birthday party that I had 300 photos and 10 gig of data on there for, and you will run out of space while you are recording. And it's probably something that you don't want to just delete and format your card and lose everything that you had captured before. So keep in mind the amount that you already have on the camera, on the SD card, clear it out and empty it out before you go. Part 2 of that. And this is the most crucial part. And anybody, all of us who have created content on the fly, we've all made this mistake. You take the time, the energy, the effort to go in and clear your SD card. You've emptied it off. You've formatted your card. You've done all the great things. And you forget to put it back into the device. And you grab all your gear is charged up, your batteries are topped up, everything's looking great and feeling great. And you grab everything, you load it up into your backpack. And you set out on the road and you go to somewhere remote where you don't have any service and you can only pre-record using a device that has an SD card in it, and guess what? You forgot to put the card back in. It's the worst feeling ever. It is the worst feeling in the world. Oh, if you have been in that situation, hands up, let me know, drop in the comments, tell me, because I tell you, the only way that I've learned to regiment myself before I leave the house, I go through a mental checklist. I'm like, is it charged? Do I have the SD card? Did I wipe the card? Did I remember to put the card back in the device? Did I remember to put the device in my pocket or in my bag and take it with me? Because that's the other thing. I've also, done all those steps and then accidentally left it behind. So yes, you don't need to have a ton of equipment to execute any type of content creation on the fly, but a little bit of planning does go a long way in making sure that you make yourself a checklist and actually stick to it, because you'll be surprised in any moment of stress when you're like, okay, I gotta fly out the door, I'm on a time limit, I have to get to this place, I have to get in the car, where are my car keys, is the dog okay, all of these things. And it's so easy for those tiny little things to slip, and then before you know it, you set out with the best of intentions, and then you never actually end up following through on content creation on the go. And as you can see, with views like this, with experiences like this, getting out of the office, getting into a different environment, creating that content on the go, it's way better. It's way better. So I really encourage you. I hope that you can take some of these tips and not be too intimidated. I really do want you to grab your devices, grab your cameras, grab whatever you have, grab your cell phone, and go and produce content on the fly outside of your comfort zone. I dare you. So now you've recorded all of this content on the go. What now? Well, now you have to put it together. Now you have to package this content together in a way that is easy to deliver to your followers, to your social media channels, or to wherever you're going to be repurposing this content. So I have some additional tips and tricks for you to help you when it comes to packaging and repurposing that content after the fact. So once you have all this content together, you need to stitch it together, you need to repurpose it, you need to do something with it. Some little tips that I have, you can use all sorts of different programs. I prefer using Camtasia. That's what I use to take all these clips and stitch them all together with. And then I also use InVideo. That's a fantastic, really, really low-cost, browser-based video editor that you can take all this information, all this footage, upload your own, use templates. It's amazing. But if you're stitching it together from scratch, I have a couple extra tips for you. What you think in your mind is going to be a really, really short video, make it shorter, and then make it shorter, and then make it even shorter. Because the content that you think that is interesting, because you're here, you're living it, you're experiencing it, you're breathing it, well, guess what? It's interesting to you, but it's not really interesting to everybody else. So take the small, cherry pick the best clips, stitch them together, and do what we call jump cutting. This is a jump cut. This is a jump cut. This is also a jump cut. So stitch that content together, rapid fire, very quick. Keep it interesting because you will lose attention span just as quickly as you have earned it. So as much as we are branching outside of the box here, we are trying something a little bit different outside of your own comfort zone by creating content on the go, on the fly, in a public, beautiful space, showcasing either your business, showcasing what you do, showcasing where people can experience what you have to offer. By taking this outside of your comfort zone and into a new environment, your mind, as you're going through it, thinks this is interesting because you lived it. But for the viewer, you have to basically take it, dial it right down to about 10% of what you think is a small amount. So by editing after the fact, post-production editing, just clip it right down, keep it short, snappy, and keep it moving. You always need movement, you always need motion. That's why we have the drone up there capturing this at the exact same time as capturing it here. So jump cuts are gonna be your best friend, post-production. Last tip that I have for you while you're creating content on the go is if you happen to make a mistake or an error or a flub, they happen, trust me, all the time. My best recommendation for you is this. Why did I do that? Well, a lot of video creators, when you're creating content and you make a flub, a little mistake, if you do this, it's creating an audio spike. So it's actually easier when you bring all of this into Camtasia. In my, for me, that's a flub right there. So for me, I'll be taking this into Camtasia for post-production, for editing and stitching all these clips together. You might be using Premiere Pro, you might be using something like InVideo, whatever you're using. Having those little moments where you have like a little flub and you do that clap, it's creating an audio spike so that when you bring your content in after the fact, you can actually see the little audio sine waves and you can see where you have a spike. And right away, if you see that spike, you're like, oh, that's where the flub happened. So you can just zoom right to that spot in your video editor and you can clip out the little flub right there. So it's a great way to bring your attention back. And it's just one of those things you get used to as you create more video content, especially on the fly like this. And it also helps when you do flub up, take a pause. And when you are creating content, even though I get super excited and I talk really quick, slow it down, take a breath. But by taking a breath, taking a pause, you give the viewer an opportunity to process the information that they're taking in, gives you a minute to catch your breath, think about what you're talking about, recalibrate, reset, and bring the user along the journey with you. I hope you've enjoyed this. My name is Amanda Robinson, I am the Digital Gal, and this was the Video Marketing Show, creating content on the go. Do you remember where I was this morning? I was on that rock. I was all set up there, the tides come in. Wait a bit, eh? part of the day. I'm second guessing bringing all the equipment to the beach.